Brian,
I will have to check back with you and
Brooke, go ahead and turn your
Yes.
your camera off.
Gotcha. All right. Thank you very much.
Where are those files?
I will have to check back with you and
Brooke, go ahead and turn your
Yes.
your
Oh, we gotta mute
camera
that.
off.
Gotcha. All right.
Okay. So now I need the link.
Yeah. So all your 4 files are here.
Thank you. Okay, so
Just open up whichever one you need.
here's the link. And
Do you want to mute yourself until you're ready to go?
yeah.
Okay. Train. Hey, Train.
Yeah, buddy.
Apparently the link you sent out, or at least one of them, was for last year, so it's not working. One of the teachers wants to watch it.
I'm resetting it right now, so just give me 1 sec.
All right. That's pretty good, huh? What, this? Partly. These are seniors. We're doing research paper. So it's a multi-step process.
Thank you.
Sure.
So you're
Stop.
run.
No.
Yes. You're literally the worst. I can't deal. I can't deal anymore. I literally can't deal.
Wait, where's Mr. Train?
I've been spinning my nose whole time. I think I want to be in the fight this year.
Do we not have class today?
I don't know. Mr. Train isn't here.
We should definitely go find him right now.
Oh my god, that sounds like so much fun.
Let's go!
What are you doing, huh? Give me those. Give me those. That's how it's done, baby. That's how it's done.
What are you guys doing? You have speech and debate.
Dude, I totally forgot. That's school. That's protein for the brain.
What do you like? Did you have to
Hey guys, you know where Mr. Train's at? We gotta go find him.
Oh, let's go. Mr. Hughes, have you seen Mr. Train?
Train? I see the train every day. I'm living Dumont. The thing goes through my house going, "Ah!" Train? Talking about train? Oh, Mr. Train.
Yeah.
I think he's doing poetry out loud.
Really?
Luigi, where's Mr. Train?
He's a poetry out loud, you didn't know?
All right, let's go.
Welcome. Oh my goodness. Give it up for Zaid Qureshi's amazing intro to Poetry Out Loud. We have made it. A few bumps in the road, but we have persevered and we're here. We're so happy to be here. 11 years of Poetry Out Loud. And in case you've never seen Poetry Out Loud, what you need to know, at the beginning of the year, students started reciting poems in their classrooms, and teachers, English teachers, selected several students from their classes to then move on to the semifinals. And the 10 students, or the 9 today that you're going to see reciting, were each proved themselves worthy enough to make it to the Poetry Out Loud Ultapan finals here today. And at the end of the day, one person is going to be declared the NVOT Poetry Out Loud champion, is going to go on to the regional finals. That's not all, though, because they are fighting for you, reciting for you, because the winner of today's competition also wins a ice cream sundae party, which we're grateful to our sponsors, Dairy Queen in Northvale. So the stakes are high and the poetry is going to be intense. I want to take a moment today to acknowledge and thank the judges, the people who are going to be determining the winner of Poetry Out Loud this year. First, Ms. Palucci, if you could give a wave on the Zoom. Thank you. There you go. And Supervisor of English at Northern Valley Regional, Dr. Mark Cicchino, over in the board office. Hello, hello. Thank you for being here. English teacher, Mr. Zelser. Give a wave. There he is. Excellent. And upstairs in Miss Beasley's room is our other judge, artist, poet, singer, Diego Quijone. And so I would like you, Miss Beasley's class, to make sure you're giving a round of applause, making him feel very welcome. We're really grateful that he's here to help today. This is a first for us here at Poetry Out Loud. So this is a live event. You're watching this on YouTube. Maybe it's a couple minutes delayed. If you're watching with us here in the auditorium, hopefully you're watching at home or in your classrooms, and we're grateful that you are here. The reciters will be reciting in front of an empty auditorium directly to you. But the bright lights are on. You are here, so this feels certainly real. We can sense the energy, your support, so make sure that you're sending positive vibes, classmates, teachers, everybody. couple of things you should know. In between each recitation, we'll be giving time for the judges to insert their scores, and we're just going to wait patiently in silence, but take some time to reflect in those moments. In between those poems, you're also going to see some speech and debate students who've worked really hard to help you kind of navigate the poems, because hearing a poem for the first time can be challenging. And so they'll kind of create like a little skit for you to help explain what the theme and the meaning is behind the poem. And they'll be entertaining you as well. And of course, grateful to those students for being here. Again, as you take time in between those moments, the silence, totally okay to reflect. Maybe you'll connect with a poem. There's always a poem for you. So it's just about time to move on to the poetry. I just want to remind everybody, in these challenging times, right, with many ups and downs, poetry is really something that we have access to that allows us to be human together. You're going to hear poems about true love in the face of the world ending, the contradictions and cruelties of racism, the desire to have the upper hand in a relationship after being broken up with, lingering doubts about whether or not someone will be loved, hope that love will overcome aging and death, the desire to just be alone so that you don't have to think about all the world's problems, teachers making mistakes and knowing less about life than their students, uncomfortable feelings that creep in after eating a huge snack and determining to embrace one's own body, and so much more. So there's definitely something that can connect with all of us. If you don't like poetry yet, you're gonna love it very soon. With that in mind now, for the few in attendance and the millions watching at home, let's get ready to recite 2 rounds of poetry for the NVOT Poetry Out Loud Championship of the school. Snap it up, snap it up, snap it up. Okay, so our first poem I'm actually going to introduce, and it's a beautiful allegory. If you've ever heard of the allegory of the cave, a symbolic story where everything has meaning. And the first poem you're about to hear is called Once the World Was Perfect. And it's all about how when things start out great, perfectly, but then we get these gnawing, lingering doubts. And a lot of times that can cause us to destroy, a relationship or something that we thought we loved. And then when it goes south, we're kind of gnawed by these feelings like, why didn't I leave it alone? Why didn't I just appreciate what I had in the moment? So think about that as we welcome our first competitor, Elena Bob. Snap it up.
Hello, my name is Elena Bob, and today I will be reciting the poem Once the World Was Perfect by Joy Harjo. Once the world was perfect, and we were happy in that world. Then we took it for granted. Discontent began a small rumble in the earthly mind, and doubt pushed through with its spiked head. And once doubt ruptured the web, all manner of demon thoughts jumped through. We destroyed the world we had been given for inspiration, for life. Each stone of jealousy, each stone of fear, greed, envy, and hatred put out the light. No one was without a stone in his or her hand. There we were, right back where we had started. We were bumping into each other in the dark. And now we had no place to live since we didn't know how to live with each other. Then one of the stumbling ones took pity on another and shared a blanket. A spark of kindness made a light. The light made an opening in the darkness. Everyone worked together to make a ladder. A Wind Clan person was the first to climb out into the new world. Then the other clans, the children of those clans, and their children all the way through time until now, into this morning light to you.
Amazing, amazing. So before our next recitation, one of our competitors, Rachel Squitieri, was playing a little injured today. She was ill, and so she can't be here, but I wanted to acknowledge the amazing work that she put into her poem. And so I'm actually going to read her poem for her, Semi-Splendid, because it's a beautiful poem by Tracy K. Smith, which is about a relationship. And sometimes we say something that's, maybe a little mean in a relationship, and the person says something mean and is looking for acceptance from her partner, because that's okay to make mistakes. And if we truly love people, it's in those hard moments when we need to be there for them. So this is Semi-Splendid by Tracy K. Smith. You flinch. Something flickers, not fleeing your face. My heart hammers at the ceiling, telling my tongue to turn it down. Too late. That something climbs, leaps, is falling now across us like the prank of an icy, brainy lord. I chose the wrong word. I am wrong for not choosing merely to smile, to pull you toward me and away from what you think of as that other me who wanders lost among whom? The many? The rare? I wish you didn't care. I watch you watching her. Her very shadow is a rage that trashes the rooms of your eyes. Do you claim surprise at what she wants, the poor girl, pelted with despair, who flits from grief to grief? Isn't it you she seeks? And if you blame her, know that she blames you for choosing not her, but me. Love is never fair. But do we? Should we care? Here to introduce you to the next reciter and the poem, please welcome students Jody and Caitlin.
Hey, Caitlin. Jody, why are you so sad?
I just got rejected by this guy I liked.
That's terrible.
Yeah, I'm afraid I'm never gonna find anyone for me.
Don't worry. As time passes and you grow old, you won't be surrounded by people that don't appreciate you.
Thanks, Caitlin. That makes me feel so much better. Now that I think about it, this reminds me of a poem I read last night.
Really?
Totally. It's about this very theme of love and how it transcends time.
Hey, I think our friendship also transcends time.
Good one, Caitlin. Everybody, it's time to welcome you to the stage, Eunjun Park, reciting When You Are Old.
Hello, my name is Eunjun Park, and I'll be reciting the poem When You're Old by William Butler Yeats. When you are old and gray and full of sleep and nodding by the fire, take down this book and slowly read and dream of the soft look your eyes had once and of their shadows deep. How many loved your moments of glad grace and loved your beauty with love, false or true. But one man loved the pilgrim soul in you and loved the sorrows of your changing face. And bending down beside the glowing bars, murmur a little sadly how love fled and paced upon the mountains overhead and hid his face amid a crowd of stars. Thank you.
Hi, Paul.
Gucci, just the girl I was looking for.
Why?
I have a Valentine's for you.
Thank you, Paul. That's so sweet. Roses are red, violets are blue. You're good at soccer and public speaking too. That is so nice.
You have one for me?
Actually, I don't. That's okay, Paul. You're still a really great guy. I'm just really not looking for anything right now. I have to experience things on my own, you know?
This reminds me of a poem I read in English class.
Really?
Yeah, totally. It's about a woman wanting to protect herself. Also, I never said I wanted a relationship. I just said you're an awesome person.
Thanks, Paul. Let's watch the next poem together.
Here is Valentine by Valerie Varas, or Varlas, or I'm just going to say Varas.
Hello, my name is Valerie Varas, and I will be reciting Valentine by Eleanor Wiley. Too high to pluck, my heart shall swing. A fruit no bee shall suck, no wasp shall sting. If on summit of cold it falls to ground, in apple leaves of gold, I'll wrap it round. And I shall seal it up with spice and salt in a carved silver cup in a deep vault. Before my eyes are blind and my lips mute, I must eat corn rind of that same fruit. Before my heart is dust at the end of all, eat it I must, were it bitter gall. But I shall keep it sweet by some strange art, Wild honey I shall eat when I eat my heart. Oh, honey cool and chaste as clover's breath, sweet heaven I shall taste before my death. Thank you. The next poem is a beautiful one, and I wanted to help you understand it more by sharing this fact with you. Did you know that each year, 20,000 Americans donate their bodies to scientists so that medical research can progress? It's true. Because of these donations, doctors learn how to perform surgeries and conduct research. In the poem you're about to hear, a person is speaking to medical students who are using his parents' bodies to study anatomy. This person is grieving, and he hopes that the medical students treat his parents' bodies with the kindness and respect that they deserve. Here to share this beautiful poem with you, competing in his 4th Poetry Out Loud competition, please welcome Dan Ook.
Hello, my name is Dan Ook, and I will be reciting Their Bodies by David Wagner. To the students of anatomy at Indiana University, that gaunt old man came first, his hair as white as your scoured tables. Maybe you'll recollect him by the scars of steel mill burns on the backs of his hands, on the nape of his neck, on his arms and sinewy legs, and her by the enduring innocence of her face, as open to all of you in death as it would have been in life. She would memorize your names and ages and pastimes and hometowns. If she could, but she can't now, so remember her. They believed in doctors, listened to their advice, and followed it faithfully. You should treat them one last time as they would have treated you. They had been kind to others all their lives and believed in being useful. Remember, somewhere, their son is trying hard to believe you'll learn as much as possible from them, as he did, and will do your best to learn politely and truly. They gave away the gift of those useful bodies against his wish. They had their own ways of doing everything, always. If you're not certain which ones are theirs, be gentle to everybody. Thank you.
Zaid, what's wrong?
I don't know. I stayed up until 3 a.m. last night just thinking about things.
What were you thinking about?
I don't know. It's personal. You wouldn't care. I mean, you're one of my close friends, so I'll tell you. I was thinking about how after 4 years of high school, I haven't accomplished anything.
You know, that's kind of funny. I was thinking of the same thing last night, but I think a lot of people feel that way.
Really?
Yeah, in fact, the other day in class, we were going over that poem about that woman who felt like she never accomplished anything in her life.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Well, it turns out Zoe Autumnelli is reciting What a Horror to Awake at Night during Poetry Out Loud. Everyone, let's give it up for Zoe Autumnelli.
Hi, I'm Zoe Autumnelli, and I will be reciting What Horror to Awake at Night by Laureen Niedecker. What horror to awake at night, and in the dimness see the light. Time is white. Mosquitoes bite. I've spent my life on nothing. The thought that stings, how are you nothing? Sitting around with something's wife? Buzz and burn is all I learn. I've spent my life on nothing. I'm pillowed and padded, pale and puffing, lifting household stuffing. Carpets, dishes, benches, fishes. I've spent my life in nothing. Thank you.
Okay, everybody, we are close to the end of the period, and so we're going to hold for our next poet. But we do have something to share with you. I am going to introduce physics teacher, Mr. Matt D'Antuono, who has made some amazing films about poetry. He loves poetry. He loves to share it with his students and our community and his family. So we're going to take a look at one video that was released a couple weeks ago, and then we have another one later on in the show for you. So let me share my screen here.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I want to share with you a poem that our family recently discovered and fell in love with. And so without further ado, The Children's Hour by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Between the dark and the daylight, when the light is beginning to lower, comes a pause in the day's occupations that is known as the children's hour. I hear in the chamber above me the patter of little feet, the sound of a door that is opened, and voices soft and sweet. From my study I see in the lamplight, descending the broad hall stair, grave Alice and laughing Allegra, and Edith with golden hair. A whisper and then a silence, yet I know by their merry eyes they are plotting and planning together to take me by surprise. A sudden rush from the stairway, a sudden raid from the hall. By 3 doors left unguarded, they enter my castle wall. They climb up into my turret or the arms and back of my chair. If I try to escape, they surround me. They seem to be everywhere. They almost devour me with kisses, their arms about me entwine, till I think of the Bishop of Bingen in his mouse tower on the Rhine. Do you think, O blue-eyed banditti, because you have scaled the wall, such an old mustache as I am is not a match for you all? I have you fast in my fortress, and will not let you depart. but put you down into the dungeon in the round tower of my heart. And there I will keep you forever. Yes, forever and a day, till the wall shall crumble to ruin and molder in dust away. Thanks for watching, and long live poetry.
If you don't love poetry now, are you ever going to love poetry? I hope you found that to be as sweet and cute as I have, and I know a lot of people reached out and said it was amazing as well. So thank you, Mr. D. Everybody, we're going to take a break right now. We'll see you at the start of the next period. It's been a while since I've used Zoom, and I was muted there for a couple of seconds. So we're back, and we're really excited to begin. If the judges could just check in with me, give me a wave to let me know you're good to go. Ms. Bellucci, Mr. Zelser, Dr. Chiquino, excellent, awesome. Good poetry so far? Excellent. Okay. Just give me 1 sec, everybody. So funny. Slight delay on YouTube, so the students were coming in to tell me that I was muted. Very funny. I also want to take a minute. I didn't mention Amanda Fausto, who's up in the booth right now. If everybody watching can just give a round of applause. Amanda is doing an amazing job as our accuracy score judge. It's a totally objective process. She's just listening for any mistakes, maybe missing words, and students are doing phenomenally. And if in the event that students need a line, she can provide it with them. So grateful for Amanda. Awesome, awesome job. So we are going to go right back to where we were, which was, I believe, our 8th poem. So I'm going to bring on a couple of students who are going to introduce the next reciter and poem. So stick around.
So anyways, I was super hungry and there was nothing to eat. So I just had to grab a deodorant stick.
Bro, how are you alive? Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up, man?
How you doing? I just had the greatest slice of apple pie. Like the mathematical constant? No, you dingus apple pie. Oh.
Guys, we gotta stop this. We gotta do our introduction for Poetry Out Loud. This is very important to me.
All right, I have nothing. We're gonna get a 0.
A 0?
Yeah, we're gonna fail.
Fail?
Listen, Fudge, calm down.
Oh, God.
Fudge,
no.
You're hyperventilating, man,
No.
right? Just calm down.
This is not good.
Count to 3.
1,
2, 3.
Wait, hold up. 0, 1, 2, 3. Like numbers? 3.1415 pi? It's all making sense now. Numbers. They're all around us. It reminds me exactly like that poem by Mary Cornish, Numbers. Liana Fair, take it away.
My name is Liana Farah, and I'll be reciting Numbers by Mary Cornish. I like the generosity of numbers. The way, for example, they're willing to count anything or anyone. 2 pickles, 1 door to the room, 8 dancers dressed as swans. I like the domesticity of addition. Add 2 cups of milk and stir. The sense of plenty. 6 plums on the ground, 3 more falling from the tree. And multiplication's school of fish times fish whose silver bodies breed beneath the shadow of a boat. Even subtraction is never loss, just addition somewhere else. 5 sparrows, take away 2. The 2 in someone else's garden now. There's an amplitude to long division as it opens Chinese takeout box by paper box. Inside every folded cookie, a new fortune. And I never fail to be surprised by the gift of an odd remainder. Footloose at the end. 47 divided by 11 equals 4, with 3 remaining. 3 Italians beyond their mother's call. 2 boys off to sea. 1 sock that isn't anywhere you look. Thank you.
Tickets, please.
Hey, how you doing?
Hello.
Have you seen it yet?
I did. It's awesome.
All right, awesome. Thank you very much.
Good. Enjoy. Next.
Oh my God, did it start yet?
No, but the trailers are playing and you don't want to miss them.
Oh, great.
Enjoy. Next. Hello.
Hello. Oh, we made it.
It's exciting, isn't it?
I know it really is. I cannot wait to see this presentation and the entire film is going to be amazing.
Oh, I'm talking about this moment right now, just as the lights are about to come down, right before the movie starts. The anticipation. That feeling's.
The feeling is amazing, I know. I can't wait to go see the movie.
Oh, I see it. Katie Park's about to recite the film. Really? Get in there. Go, hurry.
Hi, my name is Katie Park, and I'll be reciting the film by Kate Northrop. Come, let's go in. The ticket taker has shyly grinned, and it's almost time, lovely one. Let's go in. The wind tonight's too wild, the sky too deep, too thin. And it's almost time. Come, loveliest, let's go in. And know these bodies we do not have to own, passing quietly as dreams, as snow. Already leaves are falling and music begins. Lovely one, it's time. Let's go in. Thank you.
Caitlin, why are you holding all those oranges?
I'm trying to find the perfect orange, one that's juicy and firm. Yeah, this one's no good.
This reminds me of a poem I read last night, Oranges. Caitlin, isn't it true that picking the right orange is like finding the right person?
Yes, now that I think about it, I would love to be in control and choose the right person for me.
Aren't you glad we went over this? Juicy joke, Jody. Everybody, you're gonna love to see, as in Vitamin C, the great recitation of Oranges by Doriti Somas.
Hi, my name is Doriti Somas, and I'll be performing Oranges by Rose and Kelly. I'll choose for myself next time who I'll reach out and take as mine in the way I might stand at a fruit stall, having decided to ignore the apples, the mangoes, and the kiwis, but hold my hands above a pile of oranges as if to warm my skin before a fire. Not only have I chosen oranges, but I will choose which orange. I'll test a few for firmness, scrape some rind off with my fingernail so the citrus scent will linger there all day. I won't be happy with the first one I pick, but we'll try different ones until I know you. How will I know you? You'll feel the warmth between my palms. I'll cup you like a handful of holy water. A vision will come to me of your exotic land, the sun you swelled under, the tree you grew from. A drift of white blossoms from the orange tree will settle in my hair, and I'll know. This is how I will choose you. By feeling you, smelling you, by slipping you into my coat. Maybe then I'll climb down the hill and look down on the town we live in with sunlight on my face. A miniature sun burning a hole in my pocket. Thirsty, I'll suck the juice from it, from you. When I walk away, I'll leave behind a trail of lamp-bright rind.
Okay, we are moving right along here, and our next poem has some wonderful puns in it. It's a pun on violins, and the way the violin sounds like the word violence. And those puns are really an opportunity for the writer to kind of go back and forth with how do people become the people that they become, and thinking about how one person has the opportunity to be raised and to play the violin, whereas another person might be raised and seeing lots of violence, and what determines how we grow into the people that we eventually become. So here to recite this poem with lots of amazing sounds and some meaningful themes, please welcome Jessie Cho. If you're in your classroom right now, by the way, let's snap it up. We haven't done that very often, and it's nice to hear the snaps for poetry.
Hi, my name is Jessie Cho, and I'll be reciting Violins by Rowan Ricardo Phillips. He never saw a violin, but he saw a lifetime of violence. This is not to presume that if he had simply seen a violin, he would have seen less violence, or that living among violins, as though they were boulangeries or toppling stacks of other glazed goods like young adult fiction, would have made the violence less crack and more cocaine. Less, of course, and more, why, God, oh, why? More of one thing doesn't rhyme with one thing. A swill of stars doesn't rhyme with star. A posse of poets doesn't rhyme with poet. We are all in prison. This is the brutal lesson of the 21st century, swilled like a sour stone through the vein of the beast, who watches you while you eat. Our eternal host, the chummed fiddler. The Better Tomorrow, 2016. Thank you.
So I am just communicating right now that that is the end of round one. So we're going to go right into our second round of poetry. It's been amazing so far. It's wonderful having you here with us. And before we move on to our second round, I'm going to bring out Ronnie, who's going to introduce you to the next poem. I just want to take a couple of moments to thank some people. So first, as always, you heard me mention this first period, but the Northvale and Dairy Queen, the whole team there, we're so grateful. It's now over a decade that they have been sponsoring and supporting us. So thank you for supporting poetry. And I also want to thank Mr. Galvis for making all of this possible. Brian Galvis, the lights, the camera, the gorgeous backdrop back there. Please snap it up for him. For this would not be possible without his efforts and being able to handle everything. I want to thank you for tuning in, teachers, students, staff, everybody. Grateful that you're here making time for poetry. And I want to take a moment. Mr. Zell, sir. Yes, I'm talking to you. Thank you for judging the semifinals and making all of this possible, helping to narrow down the list to 10 students. And of course, Miss Beasley, thank you so much. I don't know if she has a class right now, but if whoever's there, please clap it up. Grateful for you. Everything's moving smoothly with the judges. You set up all the Google formats, the Google Forms, and again, this competition wouldn't be possible without you doing that. So thank you so much. Okay, we're going to move on right now. We'll have some more thank yous later. Please welcome Ronnie, and he'll introduce you to the next poem. This is the start of round two.
Oh, would you look at that? It's almost time for lunch. Oh, there's no way I'm eating now. I'm sick to my stomach. Yeah, I'm sick to my stomach. And this book that I was reading about, it's about the U.S. In the Vietnam War, and how the U.S. were using these incendiary bombs called napalm, and how it burned down hundreds of forests and killed hundreds of innocent civilians. I mean, it's terrible. But this kind of reminds me of a poem called Napalm that's being recited by Elena Bob. Let's hear it.
Hello, my name is Elena Bob, and I will be reciting Napalm by Quan Barry. I have come to realize the body is its own pyre. That degree rises from within. The fatty acids, a kind of kindling. Like a scientist in a lab, this much I have established. Blood gelled like gasoline. The years spread before me like a map pinned with targets, where I'm still raging, even now. It works both ways. Clear the forest to see your enemies, and your enemies see you clearly. Like all effective incendiaries, I won't only bloom where I'm planted. Thank you.
Ronnie, come on out here. I just kind of want to. Poetry Out Loud is moving so smoothly. We have a little bit of time that we can just relax. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Cool. What should we talk about?
Actually, I have a good question.
Yes.
Who is your favorite writer in literature?
That's a good question. There's too many writers to think about. Let's see. You go first. You tell me who's your favorite.
I think mine would have to be Edgar Allan Poe. I mean, he has such an interesting life, and both of his wives unfortunately died of tuberculosis, and his death is a mystery.
Good choice. Great choice. That's awesome. You actually got me thinking, and I was thinking of someone who had an amazing life, and that's Lorraine Hansberry, who was a very young writer when she passed away, but she wrote A Raisin in the Sun. And the reason that I like her writing, there's one insight that she captures in the play A Raisin in the Sun, which there's a character named Benita who's she's going to college, she's educated, and she thinks she knows a lot. And her brother Walter gives away all the family's money, and she says, I don't love him. That's not my brother. And Mama, Benita and Walter's mama, who is not formally educated, but she's super wise. She says, when do you think the time is to love someone? When they've done good and it's easy to love them, or when they make a mistake and it's really hard to love the person in that moment? That's kind of what true love is. And for me, that simple truth about life is as good as it gets.
Yeah, that's really true. That's really interesting because I feel like a lot of relationships in high school, they come to an end when they meet like a single conflict. But in a true relationship with true love, both people will come together and face that conflict instead of becoming a victim to it.
It's amazing. Great insight.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Are you sensing that?
Hey, is that the poem
that we're about to hear?
Yeah, by Rachel Squitieri.
So yes, Rachel Squitieri worked super hard on this poem, To Have Without Holding. And so I am going to read it on her behalf because she couldn't be here today. So without further ado, I give you To Have Without Holding. Great job, Ronnie. To Have Without Holding by Marge Piercy. Learning to love differently is hard. Love with the hands wide open. Love with the doors banging on their hinges, the cupboard unlocked, the wind roaring and whimpering in the rooms, rustling the sheets and snapping the blinds that thwack like rubber bands in an open palm. It hurts to love wide open, stretching the muscles that feel as if they are made of wet plaster, then of blunt knives, then of sharp knives. It hurts to thwart the reflexes of grab, of clutch, to love and let go again and again. It pesters to remember the lover who is not in the bed, to hold back what is owed to the work that gutters like a candle in a cave without air, to love consciously, conscientiously, concretely, constructively. I can't do it, you say. It's killing me, but you thrive. You glow on the street like a neon raspberry. You float and sail a helium balloon, bright bachelor's button, blue and bobbing on the cold and hot winds of our breath, as we make and unmake in passionate diastole and systole the rhythm of our unbound bonding, to have and not to hold, to love with minimized malice, hunger and anger, moment by moment, balanced. That's To Have Without Holding. Thank you. And now, please welcome to introduce our next poem. Judges, you don't have to score me, by the way. That's all good. That would fulfill a dream, though, to actually be competing in Poetry Out Loud. Please welcome Dee to introduce the next poem.
Another news report? Climate change? A robbery? God, how bad can the world get?
Oh my God, stop calling me. Why can't everyone just leave me alone right now? The world is filled with so much stressful stuff that you can't help but think about it all the time. I just want to be alone. Wouldn't it be nice if I was on a farm, away from everyone, by myself and not having to worry about all of this? Only I can dream. At least this poem gets me through the day. Everyone, please welcome Injun Park reciting Ode to Solitude by Alexander Pope.
Hello, my name is Injun Park, and I'll be reciting the poem Ode on Solitude by Alexander Pope. Happy the man whose wish and care a few paternal acres bound, content to breathe his native air in his own ground, whose herds with milk, whose fields with bread, whose flocks supply him with attire, whose trees in summer yield him shade, in winter, fire. Blessed, who can unconcernedly find hours, days, and years slide soft away in health of body, peace of mind, quiet by day, sound sleep by night, study and ease, together mixed, sweet recreation, and innocence, which most does please with meditation. Thus, let me live unknown, unseen. Thus, unlamented, let me die. Steal from the world, and not a stone tell where I lie. Thank you.
Oh, hey everyone. I was just about to go out and head out for a swim. I really wanted to go there with my friends. It's a local quarry nearby where they used to excavate rocks. And now it's just filled with water. You're not supposed to go there. Me and my friends like to take a dip sometimes. There's really no animals there except for a couple birds. And now that I think about it, it's kind of weird. It actually reminds me of one time these kids did something pretty unsettling down there. It was really, really bad. This is actually not my experience. It's the speakers in the next poem you're about to hear. It's entitled Across the Bay, and across the stage is Valerie Rivera to recite it for you.
Hello, my name is Valerie Veras, and I will be reciting Across the Bay by Donald Davy. A queer thing about those waters, there are no birds there, or hardly any. I did not miss them. I do not remember missing them or thinking it uncanny. The beach, so called, was a blinding splinter of limestone, a quarry outraged by holes. We took pleasure in that. The emptiness, the hardness of the light, the silence, and the water's stillness. But this was a setting for one of our murderous scenes. This hurt and goes on hurting. The venomous soft jelly, the undersides. We could stand the world if it were hard all over. Thank you.
Oh, hey Jody.
Hey, Mr. Train.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. What's going on?
Nothing much. I was wondering, what's your biggest fear?
My biggest fear? Oh, I know. Mr. Zelser asking me to hang out over the weekend.
Ah, that's funny. You know, my biggest fear used to be public speaking, but I feel like I got that down now.
Oh, definitely. You're doing amazingly.
Thank you.
Yes. Do you have any other fears?
I actually do, but it's silly. I'd rather not say.
Come on, Jody.
All right,
you
fine.
can tell me.
It's possums.
Possums?
Yep.
The animal?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Well, you know that those animals are pretty amazing creatures.
Yeah, so I've heard. I've actually heard that they've been here long before us and that they'll be here long after us as well.
Yes, I was recently watching Ice Age, and possums have been around for 65 million years. They're actually really helpful. They can digest poison ivy, and they eat ticks, so that they help us. So I guess possums aren't something that we should fear. They should be, an animal that we should embrace.
You know, that actually reminds me of a poem I read.
What?
Yeah, I think it was called The Oldest Living Thing in LA.
I know that poem, and it's about a possum that gets lost in the city, and everybody wants to take care of it, and the narrator is like, it's been around for 65 million years. I think it's doing just fine.
That's incredible. You know, we actually have Dan Ook reciting this very poem right now.
Let's bring him out. Everybody clap it up for Dan.
Yay.
Hello again, my name is Dan Ook, and I will be reciting The Oldest Living Thing in LA by Larry Levis. At Wilshire in Santa Monica, I saw an opossum trying to cross the street. It was late, the street was brightly lit. The opossum would take a few steps forward and back away from the breath of moving traffic. People coming out of the bars would approach as if to help it somehow. It would lift its black lips and show them the reddened gums, the long rows of incisors, teeth that went all the way back beyond the flames of Troy and Carthage, beyond sheep grazing rock-strewn hills, fragments of ruins in the grass at San Vitale. It would back away, delicately and smoothly, stepping carefully as it always had. It could mangle someone's hand in 20 seconds, mangle it for good. It could sever it completely from the wrist in 40. There's nothing to be done for it. Someone or other probably called the LAPD, who then called animal control, who woke a driver, who then dressed in mailed gloves, the kind of thing small knights once wore into battle, who gathered together his pole with a noose on the end, a light steel net to snare it with. Someone who hoped the thing would have vanished by the time he got there. Thank you.
Hey, Kendrick.
Hi, Mr. Train. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. How are you?
Well, Mr. Train, I was recently thinking about a time in middle school when I actually figured out a problem before a teacher.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me.
Well, I was in middle school and we were doing long division problems, and I could distinctly remember the problem was 160 divided by 4.
Okay.
And I got the answer in about 7 seconds compared to the teacher who got it in about maybe like half of a minute.
Wow.
And it really makes me think, Mr. Train.
Well, about kind of, I would imagine, thank you for telling me the story. I would imagine it reminds you that a lot of times students know things that their teachers don't know. And that actually reminded me, at the beginning of my career, I remember being terrified, kind of, not knowing more than my students. I think as you get older, you become more comfortable, with that, knowing that you can't know everything. Wait a minute, this whole conversation, I feel like it connects to something.
I think it does.
What?
Here to draw you in, we have Zoe Autumnelli with an amazing poem that she's about to recite.
That's great. An amazing poem about a teacher who judges her students' drawing without having ever seen the flora or the fauna in it because she's never been to Cuba. Great job. You ready?
Oh,
Let's.
can't wait to see it.
What should we do? How should we welcome Zoe onto the stage?
We should do a bird call.
Ah, a bird call. Which bird call?
An eagle.
Eagle. All right, that's very hard, but here, I'm going to give it a try. Everybody, let's give a soaring eagle call to Zoe Autumnelli.
Hi, I'm Zoe Autumnelli, and I will be reciting Turtle Came to See Me by Margarita Engel. The first story I ever write is a bright crayon picture of a dancing tree, the branches tossed by island wind. I draw myself standing beside the tree with a colorful parrot soaring above me and a magical turtle clasped in my hand, and 2 yellow wings fluttering on the proud shoulders of my ruffled Cuban rumba dancer's fancy dress. In my California kindergarten class, the teacher scolds me. Real trees don't look like that. It's the moment I first begin to learn that teachers can be wrong. They have never seen the dancing plants of Cuba. Thank you.
Okay, everybody, we're going to pause right here in terms of poetry, but we do have something else to show you. And, one of the wonderful things about the arts is that we're able to, connect, explore our humanity, the things that bring us together. And so Rachel Tang is about to introduce you to some music. And then Zaid Qureshi has blended her project with some really interesting ways of seeing some of the art around our hallways. And so we hope that you enjoy it and it inspires you to, instead of walking around the hallways with your heads down, paying attention to the amazing art that's all around you every day. So without further ado, here's Rachel's presentation.
Hello, my name is Rachel, and today I'm going to be playing the entr'acte to the third act of Carmen on. One of the things that I love about music is that it gives me solitude and a place for me to be myself, just the way that poetry does. And so I hope that by listening to this today, you guys can get some peace and it can give you some time to digest some of the poems we just listened to. I hope you enjoy.
OMG, OMG, I did it again. Well, poetry reminds us that we can laugh at ourselves. So what I said right there was, thank you so much to Rachel and Zaid for creating such an amazing project. Thank you to the artists who actually created the murals and the art teachers who helped inspire them to do that. Pay attention to the poetry that's in your world every single day. And we only have a couple minutes. What I'm going to do, it is? No, you're good to go. It's on a delay, so they think I'm still muted. But I'm going to put onto the email a link to all of the poems recited today. We have a few more in the third slot coming up. But if you connected with one poem, take a look at it. Read it, digest it, and find meaning. Everybody, thank you so much, and we will see you soon. We'll see you at the beginning of the third. Okay, we're back, everybody, and I am not muted. And I'm just going to check in with the judges. Mr. Zelser, give me a thumbs up. Are we good to go? Turn your camera on. There we go. Awesome. Ms. Palucci. Yay, awesome. Dr. Chiquino. All right, excellent. So we have several poems left. I believe 4 poems remaining. 4 poems remaining. And then we have some more, another video to show you, and we have the announcement of who's winning Poetry Out Loud today. Well, everyone's winning, right? One person achieves victory. That's what we like to say. So let's continue on with the show, and we'll see what happens. Please welcome here to introduce our next reciter, Amelia and Luciana.
Hey, Lucci, what's up?
Oh, do I look big in these jeans?
No, why would you say that?
I don't know. I just ate a huge meal and I feel really big and bloated.
No, oh my God, you look amazing. I mean, think about how many things your body does for you. You use it to play soccer every day. If you didn't eat, you wouldn't be able to have the energy to play.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
This actually reminds me of a poem I read recently about a woman who eats a really big meal and she feels really bad about it after, but she decides to accept her body anyway. She realizes that feeding and fueling her body leads to a beautiful one.
Here is Liana Farah reciting an anthem to my belly.
My name is Liana Farah, and I'll be reciting Anthem for My Belly by Kara Jackson. I look in the mirror, and all the chips I've eaten this month have accumulated like schoolwork in the bottom of my tummy. My belly. A country I'm trying to love. My mouth is a lover devoted to you, my belly. My belly, the birds will string a song together with wind for you and your army of solids, militia of Greece. Americans love excess, but we also love jeans and refuse to make excess comfortable in them. I step into a fashionable prison, my middle managed and fastened into suffering. My gracious gut, dutiful dome, I will wear a house for you that you can live in. Promise walls that will embrace your growing flesh and watch you reach toward everything possible. Thank you.
Oh my God, I can't breathe.
Oh no, it's your respiration system.
Wait, that reminds me of an awesome poem by Jamal May.
The one we talked about in class when the woman gets frustrated about breathing and forgetting to breathe?
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, my good friend Katie Park's about to recite it.
Great, let's hear it for Katie Park.
Hi, my name is Katie Park, and today I'll be reciting Respiration by Jamal May. A lot of it lives in the trachea, you know, but not so much that you won't need more muscle. The diaphragm, a fist clenching at the bottom. Inhale. So many of us are breathless, you know, like me, kneeling to collect the pottery shards of a houseplant my elbow has nudged into oblivion. What if I sigh and the black earth beneath me scatters like insects running from my breath? Am I a god then? Am I insane because I worry about the disassembling of earth regularly? I walk more softly now, into gardens or up the steps of old houses with impatience stuffed in their window boxes. When it's you standing there with a letter or voice or face full of solemn news, will you hold your breath before you knock? Thank you.
Hey, what's wrong?
I'm just not happy. I try my best to be a good human being, and I try my best to do everything, but I just mess up all the time. I just want to do good in life.
Yeah, I totally get what you mean. I feel like a lot of people feel that. And that actually sort of reminds me of this poem that writes about the same things you're feeling. It was actually written during the Mughal Empire age. So everyone, please give a warm welcome to Duriti Somis presenting her poem.
Hi, my name is Duriti Somis, and I'll be performing No, I Wasn't Meant to Love and Be Loved by Mirza Azadullah Khan Ghalib. No, I wasn't meant to love and be loved. If I'd lived longer, I would have waited longer. Knowing you are faithless keeps me alive and hungry. Knowing you faithful would kill me with joy. Delicate are you, and your vows are delicate too. So easily do they break. You are a laconic marksman. You leave me not dead, but perpetually dying. I want my friends to heal me, succor me. Instead, I get analysis. Conflagrations that can make stones drip blood are campfires compared to my anguish. Two-headed, inescapable anguish. Love's anguish or the anguish of time. Another dark, severing, incommunicable night. Death would be fine if I only died once. I would have liked a solitary death. Not this lavish funeral, this grave anyone can visit. You are mystical, Ghalib, and also you speak beautifully. Are you a saint? Or just drunk, as usual?
Oh, hey Kendrick.
Oh,
what's going
Mr.
on?
Hey, Mr. Train.
How you doing? What are you up to?
Well, Mr. Train, right now I'm just looking at an article about how the polar ice caps are melting right now, and polar bears have nowhere to live, and they might go extinct.
Very sad. I was reading an article about the Arctic this week, actually.
I know, Mr. Train. How does this all make you feel? All this sadness and the Earth getting warmer and different species losing their homes.
Well, thank you for asking. Not too good, to be honest. I think it's natural to feel kind of dejected and bummed out about it. There's just so many problems that our generations face, and it's tough sometimes to think about that, what the future could look like.
I know, Mr. Train. This actually reminds me of my grandparents who have been married for the past 50 years. Wait,
Wow.
48 years.
Okay.
And it really makes me sad about how innocent they are and how they can't really do anything about it. And I hope they're going to be okay within the coming years with all this climate change.
Protected from kind of the problems that we have to deal with, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's profound. It also happens to remind me of a poem.
It does remind me of a poem, Mr. Train.
Yes.
It reminds me of a poem that a certain somebody is going to recite today.
Yes. Jesse Cho is going to recite for us, and about this very issue, about facing the daunting future and having grandparents who we look back on, and just wanting their love to remain innocent and pure in these times of, difficulty. So, should we do another bird call?
Wait, Mr. Train.
Yes.
I feel like we should do a polar bear call today.
A polar bear call? How about you do it?
All right, Mr. Train.
All
We'll
right,
try
so a polar bear call to bring out Jesse Cho. Here we go. Wow, amazing. All right.
Thank you, Mr. Train.
Hi, my name is Jessie Cho, and I'll be reciting The World's About to End and My Grandparents Are in Love by Kara Jackson. Still, living like they orbit one another. My grandfather, the planet, and grandma, his moon assigned by some gravitational pull. They have loved long enough for a working man to retire. Grandma says she's not tired. She wears her husband like a coat that survives every season. Talks about him the way my parents talk about vinyl, the subject salvaged by the tent of their tongues. Grandma returns to her love like a hymn, marks it with a color. When the world ends, will it suck the earth of all its love? Will I go taking somebody's hand? My skin becoming their skin? The digital age is taking away our winters. And I'm afraid the sun is my soulmate. That waste waits for a wet kiss. Carbon calls me pretty. And I think death is a good first date. I hope when the world ends, it leaves him be. Spares Grandpa in his game. Grandma spinning corn into weight. The two of them reeling into Western theme songs. The TV louder than whatever's coming. Thank you.
I'm going to welcome my speech students back into the auditorium here. We have a little bit of a live audience. And we are, that makes for 20 total poems, 18 competitive ones. And that's Poetry Out Loud 2021 in the books. The competition, the competitors have already recited. Now we have to figure out what the final scores are. We're going to play a video for you. Mr. D has lover of poetry, has created an amazing film for a poem called Jabberwocky. And so I'll let him introduce it. And as you watch this video, I am going to look into the scores, and we'll be back in a few minutes.
Where's the video from?
Sorry, everybody. I realize there's technical difficulties. Just give us 1 second here.
Hello, everybody. I'd like to share with you another poem. This is a poem that our family has really enjoyed. A couple of the kids have memorized it. And so it's The Jabberwocky from Lewis Carroll's novel, Through the Looking Glass, the sequel to Alice in Wonderland. So here it is. 'Twas brillig, and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wave. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the momraths outgrabe. Beware of the Jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the Jubjub bird, and shun the frumious Bandersnatch. He took his vorpal sword in hand, long time the manxome foe he sought. So rested he by the Tumtum tree, and stood a while in thought. And as in uffish thought he stood, the Jabberwock, with eyes of flame, came whiffling through the Tolgi wood, and burbled as it came. 1, 2, 1, 2, and through, the vorpal blade went snicker-snack. He left it dead, and with its head, he went galumphing back. And hast thou slain the Jabberwock? Come to my arms, my beamish boy. Oh, fraptious day, Callooh Callay! He chortled in his joy. 'Twas brillig, and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the momraths outgrabe. If there were parts of that didn't seem to make sense, it's because he created a lot of the poem out of words that he made up, some of which are actually now in the dictionary that he invented. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching.
That was wonderful. We're going to come back in about 1 minute, so just hang tight and we'll be with you. We're going to come back in about 1 minute, so just hang tight and we'll be with you.
Okay, Mr. Keanu. Just wait for them to tell you to go.
We're going to come back in about 1 minute, so just hang tight and we'll be with you.
This is running off of YouTube. It's YouTube live. No, that was just me walking back, but this is on like a 20-second lag.
Okay, everybody, I'm going to introduce our competitors right now. And my speech students are going to give them a big round of applause. Here we go. So, entering first, Elena Bob. And give it up for Rachel Spiteri, who will be giving some speech today. Imogen Park. And Valerie Ferras. And Joey Ottamanelli. And Liana Farah. Katie Park. Enrique Solis. And Jesse Cho. So we do have some decisions. We do have the results, but before we provide those results, with you, share those results with you. I just want to kind of go down the list and thank some people. So first, thank you so much to Dr. Sabatini, Dr. Hyman, Mrs. Marolda, for your support throughout this whole process. Even coming and checking in this morning. Really, really grateful. Thank you to the custodial staff for helping us to get move the risers and always supporting Poetry Out Loud and helping us out. So grateful. Miss Beasley, just got off the phone with you, but thank you so much for generating these scores. It worked perfectly, and just really, really grateful to everything that you have done. Thank you to all of the English teachers who continue to drive this program and share poetry, introduce poetry with your students. This is possible because of you. So thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I would like to once again thank Mr. Galvez for making all of this possible this morning with the tech. I would like to thank Rachel Tang for an amazing fleet presentation. I would like to thank Zaid Qureshi for making amazing movies for your viewing pleasure. I would like to thank all the speech students who are here with me today for, publicly speaking, entertaining you, doing it so well. Just a wonderful class of students, and you should be really, really proud for, introducing everybody to these poems today. And also, thank you to our Northvale Dairy Queen for making all of this possible. We're going to find out who's going to win an ice cream sundae party. And now I would just like to offer an opportunity to any of the judges. I want to thank my judges, our judges, Mr. Zelser, Ms. Palucci, Dr. Cicchino, and Mr. Quijano. If you want to show your screens here on the Zoom. Mr. Quijano, anything you want to say about the presentation or anything like that today? First time judging Poetry Out Loud?
Yes, thank you very much for the invitation. It's really a pleasure to be here, and I feel great. Poetry is life, good things, sad, happy things. It's great and passion. I love it. Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here. Mr. Zelser, go ahead. You got to unmute, buddy. Unmute. I made the same mistake many a time.
Well, I know you're trying to make me feel better, but that kind of makes it worse. But thank you very much for having me as part of the competition every year. And I would just like to say that in case you don't get recognized at some point, because I know you're a modest fellow, I would like to acknowledge the wonderful job that you do every year. So thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Zelser. Very kind. And Ms. Palucci, go ahead.
Well, I'll second what Mr. Zelser said. Thank you to Mr. Train for a wonderful job every year. To all of the competitors, thank you for having me be a part of it every year. I'm honored and I'm thrilled. It's one of my favorite times of the year and favorite things that we do as a department. Thank you to the entire department for making this happen, and great job, everyone.
Thank you so much. And Dr. Cicchino.
This is an absolute pleasure. I was listening to the poet Billy Collins this week talk about how we very often try to, he says, torture a confession out of a poem to pull meaning from it. And really they're meant to be savored and enjoyed. And I think that was just really, you could feel that here, right? So all of you who recited a poem, that was just an absolute pleasure to hear you do that. Thank you for that.
Wonderful. And I was grateful that you shared that Billy Collins poem with me. And Amanda, our actor score judge, would you like to show on the Zoom here and give us some words of wisdom, anything like that? What do you think about this morning?
I thought it went very, very smoothly, and I think Mr. Train did a great job, and
he does a great job every year, and it's just really exciting to see him put it all together. So good job, Mr. Train.
Very kind. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you doing such an amazing job helping this entire process from the beginning of the semifinals. So thank you so much. And couple more as we're wrapping up here. I'm about to announce the winners. I do want to also just give a big thanks to Donna Melvin, Miss Eno, Miss Benicillo, Miss Solazzo, Miss Serrato for helping. There's a lot of moving parts when we do kind of an in-school field trip and things like that. So grateful for all the time that you take, answer my questions, and help do so much. So thank you very, very, very much. One more round of applause, class. Okay, so it's time now to announce the winners of 2011. And this is really amazing because it's the first time in the last 4 years that there really hasn't been, we've had repeat champions. So this is a brand new champion this year. And I have to tell you, it's incredibly close. So first place has a score of a 71. Second place has a 70.5. So unbelievably close and competitive. And if we look at from 1 all the way down to 6, there's really only 5-point difference. So it was a very, very close race this year, which speaks to the excellence. Everyone achieved victory, but unfortunately everyone achieved excellence, but only one person can achieve victory. So I am gonna start with 6th place and work our way down. So first, in 6th place, give it up for Liana Farah. In 5th place is Jessie Cho. 4th place, Katie Park. In 3rd place, Dan Ook. I also want to take a moment to acknowledge that Dan is a 4-year Poetry Out Loud participant. So that's a poetry warrior. Excellent. Takes a lot of time, effort to really do, recitations and put the time and the work in. Totally self-motivated. So you should be really, really proud. And let's see. In 2nd place, Zoe Ottamanelli. And in 1st place, the 2021 Poetry Out Loud NVOT champion. Give it up for Doriti Sola. Doriti, congratulations.
Thanks.
Amazing. How are you feeling?
Feeling great. Feeling great.
Awesome. How did you find the morning?
Fun.
Yes?
Really
Fun?
love poetry, literature, English.
Excellent.
Yeah.
This is truly meaningful. Awesome. Great job. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in today. We really appreciate it. Thank you for being here. And we'll let you know how the regions turn out. Thank you so much.